Greetings once again, heroes and villains. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with My Hero Academia, where All Might has continued to use the specialized suit made by Melissa Shield in order to combat All for One, using several techniques inspired by the students of Class 1A, giving him the mobility to move when even his body is broken down and busted. He also uses these drones called the Anima in order to prepare an ultimate attack, just when All for One has managed to get All Might on the ropes and backed into a corner. We also see that the team that was with Fat Gum and Aoyama had been completely wiped out for the most part by Kunaide, who has implanted these seeds that suck the life force out of them. But Aoyama doesn't give up, using the fact that his quirk leaks out so desperately to just start spraying his lasers all over the battlefield, causing what Kunaide to think to be a desperate last-ditch effort to actually be a planned attack, as all of those lasers are refracted into none other than the invisible girl, Toru Hugakure, who uses her powers of refraction to deliver a massive, immense blast to Kunaide, knocking them out. And at the same time, All Might uses his own version of I Can't Stop Twinkling, taking power from a local power plant to unleash a massive blast of energy right to All for One. Our heroes have really lit up the battlefield, but has it been enough to take down their enemies, or at least do enough to stall and hopefully make the difference? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, My Hero Academia, chapter number 400, Beyond Limits. Aoyama, who was kind of caught in the blast, turns and says, "Is that you, Higakure?" A somewhat visible Higakure who is very much nude, that's gonna cause some problems on Twitter, who is holding down Kunaide, kind of realizes what he's saying, looks at herself, at first at her hand, then at, well, the fact that she is naked, and then, of course, she immediately panics and tells Aoyama, "Look away!" She then goes scrambling a good distance away, as she screams, "No, being invisible is like my whole identity." Aoyama says, forgive me, but I didn't react as I myself was on the verge of death." And we still see his naval laser kind of leaking out. Higakure thinks to herself, "Using my quirk has never caused this before. Or wait, maybe it did." As she remembers when she faced off with Aoyama back in the forest when it was revealed what he had done, she thinks facing down Doom must have made him go past his usual capacity, and that made my invisibility quirk bug out. She turns and looks at Aoyama thinking, "Aoyama, your quirk, when it evolved." Or, I think she says that out loud, yeah. Aoyama says, "Forget about that. We must burn away these plants to save our allies." Fat mentioned that they would continue to grow, even with their master defeated. The will behind them may be gone, but they do not vanish. Higakure, you can adjust the strength of my light to burn the roots that dig into their flesh. Higakure says, "Yeah, is your tummy up for it?" Aoyama says, "This day will be my last as a student of UA, so yeah, whatever it may take." Damn. Good on ya, Aoyama. Speaking of laser blasts, All Might is just continuing to unload on All for One. His suit telling him, "Engines overheating. Battery failure." But All Might says, "Let up even a bit and he'll drag himself away." The beam continues to fire down. Oh, so that was the back half of Hercules that still wasn't used. Okay, interesting. All Might is floating nearby, and he says, "I've taken a cue from Star's Last Stand. Although turning a laser into solid matter for a continuous oomph isn't a trick in my repertoire." Ooh, and then we see the hand of All for One raised from the continuous laser blast. All Might then says, "So," and something, his chest plate shifts, like it's getting out of the way for something. Oh, he's using Jiro's ability. Nice. I was wondering, I've been counting down how many abilities he still has yet to use. I think I said 6. So he uses sound wave vibration, earphone jack. So in addition to the laser blast, he unleashes a wave of sound on All for One. All Might thinks, "I'll have to blast him with all I've got to keep him square in the strike zone. I purged the tentacle parts and zipped away with full power thrusters just as the beam was coming down, and coating my armor with Invisible Girl. A special optic resin helped shield me from the laser's heat a bit. Okay, so he did use some of Hagakure as well. I thought it would be a cloaking thing, but something to shield him from the laser blast. Okay, that's smart. So, four is left. I think. Who are the other? He hasn't used Bakugo, he hasn't used Mineta, he hasn't used Yaoyorozu. Did he use Froppy? Can't remember. I have to look that up later. All Might thinks engineering this trap meant taking that one hit, a hit I guarded with Tailman, though my legs still paid the price. Yeah, his legs look like they're jacked up. He thinks, you wanted to see my face, so you didn't aim for my head, you moron. I got off easy there. Easy here. Ooh, suddenly, tendrils come jutting out of the blast zone, striking at All Might, managing to injure his head a little bit. Oh, and then All Might uses morphing armor, Creati, and the armor starts shifting into something else. All Might thinks, I couldn't load myself up with more power than this, so just fade away already. He creates balls. Oh, yep, binding rounds, grape juice. He's even using Mineta. Love it. And it looks like they're binding All For One in place. Oh, dude, that shot. Jeez, that's such an intense look. All Might thinks, while my euphoria is still overriding the pain. Oh, yeah. Huh. Is some webcam filming this? Who's filming this? Huh. Let me see somewhere else. A grandmother and a young boy. The boy points at the TV saying, who's the skinny guy in black? The old lady says, I don't know much about all them heroes. The boy says, what happens if he wins or if he loses? The old lady says, that's all going on in some far-off land. Whoever wins doesn't have much to do with us. You're old enough to know that's not true. Might not be in ways that you think, but you never know. But the boy says, and he continues watching, captivated, his hands clasped together as if saying a prayer. His can't stop twinkling cannon. All Might's, it gives out. Overloaded, overheated. All Might looks up in shock as the beam finally stops. All Might looks to where All For One was, and he sees a body emerging from the destruction. Glowing. All For One, now looking younger than ever before, says, as I said, tools can't surpass their own limits. All Might thinks to himself, his whole body's glowing. Are we gonna find out that All For One was the glowing child that kicked off everything that's happening? Oh, please, don't tell me that. That would be insane. All Might gets ready to attack, saying, a wee lad now, while All For One's arm starts to undulate and grow as he says, are you forgetting to smile, dear friend? But suddenly he stops. All For One is frozen. He thinks to himself, I can't move. Oh, no way. Holy shit. And as All Might goes rushing in on All For One, he remembers the conversation he had with Stain asking, who are you? And we see high above the battle, riding on a hoverboard, Stain calls out, all bleed red. And as Stain licks some of the blood that was splattered on a piece of rock nearby, using his quirk to freeze All For One in place, he calls out, now conquer him, All Might. This was fantastically intense. Alright, of the 20 students of Class 1A, you have Red Riot, Black Whip, Cellophane, Charge Bolt, Sugarman, Dark Shadow, Pinky, Oravity, Ingenium, Tentacoil, Froppy, Tailman, Shoto, Anima, Can't Stop Twinkling, Creati, Grape Juice, Earphone Jack too, yeah, that's right. Also Invisible Girl's coding in order to, make sure he wasn't harmed too badly by the laser. So it's just Bakugo. What is the great explosion murder god Dynamite? If he blows himself up, I'm gonna be mad. I almost feel like that's gonna happen. Like, that would be the blaze of glory, the last ditch effort. Protocol Dynamite, he just blows himself the hell up. It's literally the final explosion from Vegeta, which is very ironic since in the dub he's voiced by Christopher Sabat, who voices Vegeta. Ooh. I could see that the last-ditch effort, he just blows himself up. Or he releases the suit, it closes in on All for One, and then it explodes. I could see that happening. Ah, man, but Stain coming in at the last minute, I should have seen that coming. It makes too much sense. But can this really be it? Will this really get the job done? Is it even possible? Because, not to mention, is the glowing child All for One? Or did he just steal the glowing child's quirk? I mean, we know that All for One is like over 100. It's hard to say. I mean, part of me wants to say that All for One wouldn't be so petty as to just steal the very first quirk just cuz, but he totally would do that. He's enough of an asshole to do something like that. So it's entirely possible. Or maybe he and his brother are related to the first person who ever had a quirk. I wonder. Man, that would be really messed up. I always thought of the symbolism of the very first quirk, glowing baby. Almost felt like a religious event to just have this child just literally just luminous all the time. But for him to be the ultimate enemy and evil, I don't know. This was a great chapter though. Not as like big and bombastic as I think a 400th chapter should be, but I don't tailor yourself to expectations. Horikoshi just needs to write it how he needs to write it in order to finish things properly. Because people all up in arms about how this story has been going up until this point, and I'm just enjoying myself. But I will admit, if this ends in a really lackluster way, I'm going to feel it. But I'll still have at least enjoyed myself up until now, and these past few chapters have been beautiful, and Horikoshi's art always hits. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye bye.